Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to your biology class, class 8th. I hope you all are fine and have kept on revising whatever has been taught to you. Keep in touch with each and every subject and keep on completing your work along with the revision work, which includes the learning part also. So lesson 1 in biology I was taking up, that is the transport of food, water and minerals in plants, and I have dealt with how this process is taking place, which are the tissues which are responsible for it, and what are the processes that are operating this particular transport process. I have told you about the structure of xylem and phloem, about the process of osmosis, diffusion and active transport, and now I will explain transpiration. Now what is transpiration? Basically, this is nothing new for you, you have come across this term in class 7th as well. Water loss to the aerial parts of the plants in the form of water vapor. Basically the leaves are involved in this loss. So all of us know this, right? And which is the part which is responsible for absorption process in plant is roots, which is it is a continuous process and it is a lifelong process till the plant is alive. This process continues. Now this is how the water reaches the plant, that is from the roots. It is absorbed through the root hair, and then it reaches the different parts of the root and finally to the xylem, and then xylem of root is interconnected with the xylem of stem and then leaves, and it forms a long tube like system which distributes the water and minerals in all the parts of the plant. Now this water which is being absorbed is firstly used by the plant for making food, then some of it is also stored in some parts of the plant, and the remaining of it is evaporated into the atmosphere through the stomata. So you must have seen the areas in which there are many trees, they are comparatively cooler, in which there are no trees, the areas in which there are no trees. So this is happening just because of the transpiration process, which is giving a cooling impact to the atmosphere present over there. So basically the water loss is through the pores, which are called stomata, which are present in the epidermis, the uppermost layer of the leaves. And this loss of excess water from plants, mainly through leaves as water vapor, is called transpiration. Now this is not only helping in maintenance of water balance in the plant, but it is also helping in the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap I have already explained to you, that is it is the upward transport of water and minerals to all the parts of the plant, is actually in the upward direction. Now what is happening due to this transpiration only, what is happening, the concentration of water in the cells of the leaves decreases. As a result of this, what happens, water from the neighboring xylem vessel enters the leaf cells, and the loss of water from a leaf creates a suction force. Suction force means as you suck cold drink or milkshake from a straw, from a bottle or glass, that creates a sucking force. That is the similar force is created over here, which sucks the water upwards from the cell, and from below these cells, whatever water is present, it is sucked up and the water rises upwards. This pulls the water upwards from the roots to great heights in tall trees. That is how tall trees are also getting the water. It is not just the small trees which are getting water in this manner. Water molecule, and the second force which operates, or the second factor which is responsible for this, is cohesion. That is, the water molecules stick to each other, water particles stick to each other, as a result of which a continuous channel, or there is no gap in between. All the water molecules stick to each other, and as a result a continuous channel of water is maintained throughout the whole length of the plant. Now then we move on to the root pressure. Now, just because of the continuous inflow of water from the soil into the roots, what is happening? A pressure develops in the roots. This is known as root pressure, and this is the pressure which is responsible for upward conduction of water, or you can, simple words you can call as the ascent of sap. And this process of transpiration and absorption of water by root hair are interdependent. As more water is lost through transpiration, more water is absorbed by root hair. So this water is rising up in the xylem by a force which is known as capillary force. This is a force which does not need a driving force or something else, or some motor or something like that is connected. No, it is a force which is present on its own in very fine tubes, which is known as capillary force, because the xylem tissue is narrower in diameter and act like a capillary tube. So the capillary force acts upon them. When the loss of water to transpiration is more than the absorption water by the roots, the plant cells start losing water, and due to this excessive loss of water, what is happening? The leaf, stem and flowers begin to droop. You can see the condition in which, in simple terms you can call it drooping down, means they tend to look fallen down in appearance. You can call it murjhaya sa. Is that clear? This is called wilting, and generally happens in hot days and when the weather is very dry and the plant has not been watered well. Then we have the factors which affect the rate of transpiration. First factor is sunlight, the very important factor, because if the rate of transpiration if the sunlight is more, if the particular area in which the sunlight is more, in that area the rate of transpiration will be faster. So you can call it that at daytime the rate of transpiration is faster. This is because stomata are open during daytime, and this allows the entry of carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis. Then next is temperature. Now the rate of transpiration increases with increase in temperature. That is why on a hot summer day transpiration is faster than on a cold winter day. Then humidity. What do you mean by humidity? The amount of moisture that is present in the air. If it is more, then the rate of transpiration is less. Is that clear? This happens because air has already enough moisture, so it cannot hold any more. Next is wind. When the wind blows faster, the rate of transpiration also increases, and because of the wind, the water vapor that is being released as a result of transpiration, that is removed, and automatically the amount of transpiration and the rate of transpiration will become more. What is the importance of transpiration? First importance is that in the process of absorption, I have told you, it helps maintain the concentration of sap inside the plant body. Sap, I have told you, the fluid that is present inside the cells, that is a mixture of water and minerals. Is that clear? And if that is less, then more water will be absorbed by the roots, and as a result there will be a continuous system in which the water will be absorbed by the roots from the soil, and it will be transported to all the parts of the plant. And when leaves lose water through transpiration, more water is pulled upwards from roots to xylem to replace the lost water. It results in further absorption and transport of water and minerals from the soil. Then it causes a cooling effect. I have told you that during the process of transpiration, what is happening? The water is being evaporated from the leaves of the plant. So what is happening? It causes a cooling effect, gives a cooling effect to the plant body also. So the heat needed for evaporation is taken from the plant. You can imagine it, when you sweat more, you are sweating, you stand under the fan, that it gives a cooling effect to you. Right? Similarly with the plant also, it is the sweating of the plant, you can call in simple terms. Then we have an activity to show that water vapor is released during transpiration. For this we take a small sized plant, potted plant, a transparent polythene bag and a strong thread. So what do? We take a potted plant and not very big or small one, and which has been watered well. It's healthy plant. We covered it with a transparent polythene bag and we tie it at the base of the stem with a strong thread, and then we leave it for 4 to 6 hours in direct sunlight, and after that we observe. What do we see on the inner surface of the polythene? We see water droplets on the inner surface of the polythene bag. So we can conclude that water is released during transpiration, and just because the water droplets that are seen are the condensed water vapor. Is it clear? Next activity is to show that plants lose water through their leaves. We take one small and well watered potted plant, 2 polythene bags and 2 threads. What do? Cover one branch of the plant with a polythene bag. Remove the leaves from another branch of the same plant and cover with another polythene bag. Tie both the polythene bags tightly with thread. Now place the plant in sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. What is the observation? We see small water droplets inside the polythene bag over the branch with leaves, and without leaves, the branch that is there, the polythene bag does not show any water vapor. Is that clear? So we can conclude that water vapor or the plants lose water through the leaves. Is it clear? And if the plant is without leaves, then the transpiration will not be there. It will be there, then that will be very that percentage will be very small. That will be through the lenticels of the stem, that is pores present on the stem. Then translocation is what? How the food that has been manufactured by the leaves transported to the other parts of the plant. Now during photosynthesis, what is happening is what are the raw materials that are required are carbon dioxide, water in the presence of chlorophyll, that is to the green plants, only green leaves, the process of photosynthesis will take place inside the leaves in the presence of sunlight. The product that is formed is glucose, right? And this glucose is converted into sucrose and transported to various parts of the plant through the phloem. So this transportation of food from leaves to other parts of the plant is called translocation. Whatever excess amount of glucose is there, it is converted into insoluble starch and is stored in various parts of the plant. Is it clear? Now this completes the chapter. Please revise the chapter and try doing this exercise that is given. Is that clear? At the end of the chapter, the exercise that is given, you can see. Then if we summarize this, you can just see that the transport system in plants is present in higher multicellular plants as well as in the unicellular plants in the form of diffusion, and higher multicellular plants I have told you through conducting tissues which are phloem and xylem. So this we will once again revise in the revision session. Let's move on to the exercises, that is the question answer part that is given. So question number 1, why do plants need water? So this answer to this is present on page number 9. So first of all, it needs for the transport of substances from one part of the plant to another. Next is for making food. Then third is it provides the suction pull that causes the ascent of sap, and it gives a cooling effect to the plant. Right? This is the answer to the first question. Moving on to the second question, why are minerals important for plants? Minerals are necessary for the growth and development of plants. you have to learn the whole table of macronutrients and micronutrients that is given, along with the deficiency symptoms and the function of the minerals, macro and micronutrients. But for this question the answer will be this much only, that is, minerals are necessary for the growth and development of plants. Then moving on to the third question, what are the features of root hair that help in the absorption of water? This also I have told you that what are the features they are present that are important are, you move on to okay, I'll discuss this now. What is happening? That's because they have a large surface area. Is that clear? On page number 11, please move on to page number 11. They have a large surface area. Then second is presence of numerous tiny pores all over the membrane of the root hair. Then third point is root hair cell sap is more concentrated than the surrounding soil water. Then fourth point is its cell wall is freely permeable and cell membrane is semi-permeable. These points we have already discussed, so you have to write all the 4 points. Then define diffusion, osmosis, active transport. These definitions are given on page number 11 and 13. So you have to write them in your notebooks. What is transpiration? How does the process of absorption of water by root hair depend upon transpiration? So we all know the definition, that is the loss of excess water from plants mainly through leaves as water vapor is called transpiration. How does the process of absorption water by root hair depend upon transpiration? So the two factors are interdependent. As water is lost through transpiration, more water is absorbed by root hair. They are directly proportional to each other. Is that clear? Next we move on to the long answer questions. Describe the structure of xylem and phloem. For xylem we have figure 1.2. You have to draw the figure as well. Figure 1.2 on page number 7. You have to write the 4 elements and explain, that is the vessels, trachees, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. You have to explain the structures as well. Next you have the phloem, page number 8, figure 1.4. You have to write about the elements of phloem as well, that is the sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Page number 8. Then question number 2, how does water and mineral get transported from the soil to the leaves of the plant? So you can write it down as in plants water and minerals are transported through the xylem cells from the soil to the leaves. Then the xylem cells of the stem, roots and leaves are interconnected, forming a conducting channel reaching all plant parts. Osmosis causes osmotic pressure, hence water and minerals are transported from one cell to another cell. Is it clear? This is what you will write. Next is, why is transpiration important for plant? Discuss the factors that affect the rate of transpiration. So for this is transpiration also leads to a continuous water loss in addition to a suction pressure which is created due to water that is forced into the xylem cells of the root. Is it clear? Transpiration also leads to a continuous water loss in addition to a suction pressure which is created due to water that is forced into the xylem cells of the roots. Hence, transpiration helps in ascent of sap. Is it clear? It gives a cooling effect to the plants. Then the factors which are responsible or factors that affect the rate of transpiration are sunlight, at a present. You can discuss this from, or I beg your pardon, you can take the answer from page number 14, second column. Factors are given, that is sunlight, that is rate of transpiration is faster during daytime. Next is temperature, rate of transpiration increases with increase in temperature. Third is humidity, rate of transpiration decreases with humidity, increase in humidity. Then wind, rate of transpiration increases when wind blows faster. Is it clear? Then write an experiment to show that plants lose water through their leaves. Now for this you have an activity on page number 14, activity 4. I have already discussed this and you need not do this in your notebooks. Is it clear? And then we move on to C part, the application of skill based questions. Both Priya and Sonam pluck some flowers from the garden. Priya puts her flowers in water, but Sonam puts her flowers in a vase without water. Whose flowers will remain fresh for a few days and why? For this you will write as the xylem is still functional, the plant which is in water will remain fresh for a few days as the xylem transports the water which is necessary for the different activities of the plant. Is it clear? Yes, because the xylem is functional, it tends to transport the absorbed water. Then number 2, a balsam tree is showing symptoms like curling of leaf tips and yellowing leaves. Which of the following fertilizers should be added to it? Potash or ammonium chloride? Give a reason for your answer. These are the deficiency symptoms of the mineral potassium. So we will, when we add the fertilizer potash, then only these symptoms will diminish. Then draw a well labeled diagram of root hair. This is on page number 11, figure 1.5. Please join your copies. Question number 4, in an experiment of transpiration, a scientist removes half the leaves of a plant and covers the remaining half with a thick waxy coating. What will he observe and why? Now for this you will write most of the functions inside the leaf will stop because stomata will be blocked because of wax. So gaseous exchange will not occur and water will not be able to get transpired. So the process of photosynthesis and transpiration will be affected. As a result, the plant will die after some time. Is it clear? Next is Neha is doing an experiment on transpiration. She places a plant in a dark room. Will she observe water droplets inside the polythene? Why or why not? For some times, for a little while you can say there will be plant droplets, but they will not be there for a long time. Very few droplets can be seen, that too in the initial when the plant is kept inside, that is just on the starting point. Then after that there will be no droplets, just because the rate of transpiration will not take place in the process of transpiration will not occur in the dark. The stomata will be closed and as a result the plant will not be able to get the water will not be able to get transpired. Is that clear? So water vapor will not be seen, or water droplets will not be seen inside the polythene bag. Apart from these exercises, please draw figure 1.6 on page 11 and figure 1.7 from page 12 in your notebooks. Complete your work, revise the chapter so that the revision lessons are of any use to you all. So this completes this chapter. Complete your work. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.